target wake up time, which is TWT. This is specifically designed for IoT devices. This enhancement was launched keeping in mind the IoT devices and their need to conserve battery. IoT devices once installed, we expect them to be there with us for at least some years, right? So there has to be a way by which we can conserve their battery life as much as we can. So conserve the battery life, right? And this is going to allow them to sleep longer than their usual. So it helps, and it was there have been multiple ways to conserve battery in multiple standards that were launched, right, starting from .11n AC, but AX specifically has introduced a concept of TWT for the IoT devices on 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, right? Okay, so this is more or less like a negotiated agreement. Okay, we won't go in too much details of this, but think of it as it is a negotiated agreement between the client and the AP. The client tells the AP, okay, I'm going to sleep for 5 minutes, for example. The AP says, okay, go ahead, sleep, and then they form an agreement, and then the client goes to sleep. At any point in time, anybody can say no. If the client says, I want to sleep for 5 minutes, AP says no, then the client cannot sleep, or vice versa. And during the agreement, even when agreement has been formed and the client is now going to sleep, the client is dozed off, the AP can wake it up anytime. So this is more like, in IoT devices, when you say, I have an IoT curtain installed in my house, for example, right? I need not send any data towards the curtain for even once a week. I may not even send any data towards the curtain once a week. So I don't need the curtain to wake up, or that IoT device to wake up every day or every 2 days, or it can wake up once a week. It should be good, right? So that's where this target wake up time really helps, because I gave an example for 5 minutes. The client can go to sleep for even years or months. Okay, it is possible. So target wake up time is quite essential and effective in that way. The next feature that or the next enhancement or the next change that I want to talk about is 1024 QoM of modulation. Let me quickly fix this part, and then yeah, 1024 QoM. Now in 1024 QoM, this is definitely a better encoding mechanism, better modulation, better encoding of bits onto the carrier signal. We have more subcarriers to carry traffic, we know that, right? And this gives us a good boost of the data rates. I'm not saying Wi-Fi 6 is not going to give us good data rates. No, that's not the point. Wi-Fi 6 will still increase the TCP throughput to an extent. But again, I want to emphasize on this, that this standard is known as high efficiency wireless, HEW or HE, high efficiency. So we will stick to that notion for now. In .11 AC, we heard that approximately around 3.4 gig of data rate we got in .11 AC with 4 spatial streams, right, on a 4x4 device. .11 AX on a 4x4, this can go up to around 5 gig, or in the high 5 gigs, approximately 5 Gbps, 802.11 AX, again on a 4x4. However, on an 8x8, it is not tested yet, because there is no device out there which is an 8x8. But on an 8x8, it can go all the way up to 9.7 Gbps. on an 8 cross 8 device. Unfortunately, we don't have a device right now we can play around with and check, but as the standard supports on an 8 cross 8, we can go all the way up to 9.7 gig, which is a huge increase, right? Now, this was all about .11ax, and I think this wraps up this course pretty well. Guys, in case you have any questions around what you studied in this course, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email on my email address. You will find all these details in my profile on the site. Connect with me. Tell me if you have any questions. Ask around. Drop me a direct message on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to respond. If you want to drop me an email, by all means go ahead and do that, and I will make sure I respond to that at least once a day. Thank you, guys.